All right, everybody. We have the wonderful, amazing Megan Nolan here. And Megan has gone through the Leads and Sales Accelerator experience with me. And Megan, I'm just so excited because you were one of the first people I did this with. And I think it's super valuable to just hear your input, especially with kind of what you do and how you do it, which is really special and unique. So I would love for you to just kind of give some of the maybe frustrations and challenges that you had before kind of going through this process with me.
Sure. So I definitely was a freebie collector. I tried to mishmash, hodgepodge everything together without any sort of clear direction. Definitely was a jumper from strategy to strategy of like, oh, this is what's hot now. This is what I should do. And, trying to figure it out. I've been in a few different, very large group coaching experiences and some smaller containers, but have always felt lost in them.
Mm.
I've always felt like, sure, there's all like a million and one strategies and launch mechanisms and things you can do to find your ideal client avatar and all the things. And yet I still felt like I'm not really sure. And so as such, I would do something, it wouldn't work out very well. And I was like, well, that didn't work. All right, now we go try something else. We go try the next new hot strategy. And
Yeah.
so I was kind of all over the place as a starting point with a million and one bridges and then like a million and a half that I had built and blew up and started over again. And so I think I was an ideal client for this program.
For sure. For sure. But I feel like anybody that watches this will totally relate with everything you just said, especially if they've been in the game as long as you and I have been. It's like we've tried all of this stuff and we've been in these programs and like we keep throwing spaghetti at the wall and it's just not working. So uh I guess the next question is, how did the program help you? What did it do?
I would say it gave me a lot of clarity because in addition to trying a million things, I've also created a lot of different programs. And yet I never really had a clear pathway of the steps that I would take somebody on to get from A to B, and also be able to communicate that and have concise, understandable languaging and clarity around the steps.
Mm.
Because, as somebody who is helping people to overcome anxiety naturally, there's a lot of moving parts to that, inner shifts, outer shifts, and beyond. And I never was able to communicate that clearly until inside the program had my three pillars,
Yeah.
and so have it be fit into that so that everything was under that umbrella of the roadmap. That was really helpful because I was able to use what I had already, but then have it make sense, because
Mm.
otherwise it was like, oh, I do this now and I do this now. And I was kind of felt like one of those like monkeys that was sort of like dancing on the stage trying to get attention all the time, because I was like, okay, well, I'm trying this now. And nothing was very clear to people. And so
Yeah.
really, I guess that's the word that keeps coming back is the direction and the clarity of the direction and the journey of transformation that I get to support people with.
I love that. And it's so powerful when we can get more clear about what we do, right? Because then we can help it other people see what we do. And a confused mind doesn't jump into a program they don't understand. So if we don't understand it and they don't understand it, then it falls on deaf ears. And I feel like that's a lot of what a lot of coaches go through. I know that's exactly what I went through, and hence why I built this process out. Um, so I love hearing that the clarity got so much better. So uh, where are you now? What are some of the results that you've got from doing this work? And yeah, give me a gist around that.
It really has given me an understanding of how to keep directing everything back to the roadmap. And so inadvertently, what started as a bit of an experiment, I, with your help, have realized is my front end offer. So it's a
Mm.
component. One of the tools that I use are called power pauses. And so just taking intentional timeouts. And so I thought, oh, well, let's just try this as a little sample offer. But it's perfect because it is such a foundational tool inside my work. And so we have created that as a front end offer that's a really low price point to give people a sense for the work that I do, and an introductory part into, once they come into the community, then I get to work with them and support them inside the welcome call. We get to do the roadblock reveal to see what might be in the way of getting the most of it. And then that leads to the conversation of showing them what else is available as far as the tool set that I have inside Mindful Strength and how I can support them. And so that level of clarity is really powerful, because then it gives me something to have consistency with. Because again, with the like all over the place erraticness, it was just constantly this trial and error. And so that to me really feels good, although my inner shiny squirrel is having a challenge with just sticking to one thing. I'm like, I'm really committed to it, because that was one of my biggest frustrations, was the inconsistency in my business.
Yeah.
And the inconsistency in my growth, and being able to support and serve people. And so, upon further investigation, I realized that it may be caused by my own inconsistency. And so I know, obvious, I know, but it really lends to me having this as the starting point, and then having that be a really no-brainer offer for them to try it out and get a sense and build a know, like, and trust. And so that has really led to more people coming into my world, more people getting these tools and using them, which feels really great because it's supporting them. But then it's really lending to taking the next step with
Yeah.
clients to be able to go deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, creating that ascension is huge. So I love that. And it's now you have all of these building blocks to choose from, but it's always coming back, right? It's kind of like, from a yoga perspective, coming back to your center, right? Like coming back
Mm-hmm.
to the core of, this is really the bigger piece of what I offer. And here's some mini pieces that you can try. And then if you want the whole shebang, this is what it looks like. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was somebody who was on the edge about jumping into this experience, what's some advice that you would give them?
It's time to go. You've wasted enough time and energy and money and of your presence and of your own life force trying to
Yeah,
figure this out.
yeah,
Stop.
yeah,
For the life of me, stop. And for the life of you, and for your goals and your vision. Because it's all depends on that, right? And like, if just trying to figure it out, piece it all together and do all the things, it's so frustrating, it's exhausting. It's like recipe for fast track to burnout. Please believe me, I know. And so I would say that save yourself the time and the frustration and the
yeah,
tears, and just have this, because that was one of the things I said to you right away. I was like, oh, I just felt so much, not to go way out there, but just like so much peace in my heart. And I felt so much relief. I was like, I actually know what I do now. And I can communicate this to somebody, because where it's intrinsic work, with yoga and personal training has physical external results, but intrinsic work of the work that I really love to
yeah,
do, it's like, it's
yep,
hard to put that onto paper, and
yeah,
so it's one of those things that, now that I can really show and tell that to people, it really has given me that sense of direction and even more purpose. And so I would say, come on in. It's really helpful. And Matt's very amazing and super kind
love
and
that.
very present with you and answers all the questions. And yes, go for it.
I love that. Love it, love it, love it. I love what you've created. Love everything about it. Thank you so much. This is going to be super valuable for anybody that needs to hear it, right? And that's the biggest key. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.